Now let's bring in union expert Vinnie Vernuccio. He is for his take on the airport wage increase. Thanks so much for joining us. What did you think of what you just heard?
Hey, Melissa, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you hit the nail on the head there when you're saying the money has to come from somewhere, whether it's going to come from the workers who are going to see decreased hours or whether it's going to come from passengers that are going to have to pay more. The money has to come from somewhere. And I think the councilman, with all due respect, is being a little bit naive, saying that just magically the airlines or the subcontractors can come up with these wages and it won't affect anything.
Well, I mean, I think the point he's trying to make is that it comes out to about $2 a flight per passenger. When you're paying, hundreds of dollars, you're not going to notice yet another $2. Is that fair?
Well, I mean, those $2 add up, and maybe $2 for the connection in LaGuardia, but what happened if you have to go from LaGuardia to Atlanta, 2 or 3 connections? It does start to add up, and, you wonder what the airlines are eventually going to cry uncle and start routing flights somewhere else. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen in the near term, but they keep nickeling and diming them like this. Something's got to give.
I mean, there is the idea of competition, and we all know here in the New York area that when you're looking to fly in, you compare the price at Newark to JFK. I mean, they're both incredibly hard to get to Manhattan from. It's sort of the same level of inconvenience. So if the flight is cheaper to Newark because wages are lower there, more people would select to go, no?
Well, I mean, you may see that, and Governor Cuomo, unlike Governor Christie, has pushed this through. And remember, you had the councilman on just now. He should be for the legislative process. This thing was rammed through by an order by an unelected appointee. Without going through any board process at the Port Authority. It was simply just like Obama's trying to do with his executive orders, takes out his pen, and there you go. There's the order. So
no, that's a really good point.
We'll see what
happens. The Port Authority just sort of decreed this. Do you think the airlines will challenge it?
They may. I mean, right now, this is the decree by the executive director of the Port Authority, one guy, Peter Foy, and the entire board hasn't even met or voted on it. So, there may be a chance for a lawsuit here because you never know if this is just simply an overreach.
I'm an economics nerd, so I just can't help myself. When I look at the list of wages at airports around the country, I mean, they are much higher. Miami, $13.82, Syracuse, $14.68. Are there special economies around airports where the labor market is tighter and they are able to pay their workers more? I mean, maybe it's very hard. Workers don't want to, it's not as competitive. Workers don't want to work there as much because it's a pain in the neck. Like going to the airport, working at the airport is a nightmare to get there. So you simply have to pay more to get people to work there. Is it a different economy at an airport?
Well, that's the thing. If it is more competitive, if it is a different economy, if it is rougher to work there, the market would take care of those wages, or those workers would say, hey, if I am making, $8, $9, $10 an hour here, and I could be making it at an easier job somewhere else, I'm just going to take that other job. So, listen, if it is more expensive, it's harder to work there,
then we
the
would
jobs
already
are
be
more
seeing
intense,
the wage.
then we'd be seeing the market wage. Exactly, Melissa.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.